What's up guys, Rip Trippers back at you tonight. Got another tutorial for you, and you know, I've had a lot of people ask me how to get rid of hot spots in their Genesis Atomizer when using a device that's variable voltage, variable wattage. This tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to do that. How to get rid of hot spots in your Genesis Atomizer using stainless steel mesh wick when firing it with a variable voltage, variable wattage device. So for those of you who are watching this who are having issues but you're using mechanical mod, check out this video tutorial below. So I've got an AL1 Genesis Atomizer sitting on a Provari V2 Mini. The Provari V2 Mini, along with a lot of other variable voltage, variable wattage devices, has a 15 watt amp capacity limit. Okay, so that means that if you're going to be using 28 gauge or a low resistance wire, like I am, I'm using the 28 gauge today, with the Provari you can't wrap anything lower than 1 ohms. Now that's low compared to something like the Sigelli Z-Max, the iTaste SVD, the LavaTube V2. Anything below 1.4 ohms on those devices, you're going to have issues with, okay? So with the Provari Mini V2, it's more forgiving, okay? And so today I'm going to be using, like I said, 28 gauge Kanthal, and I'm going to be wrapping a 5-4 wrap, 5 wraps on one side, 4 wraps on the other. That should get us between 1.1 and 1.3 ohms, which is perfect when using 28 gauge Kanthal on a Provari Mini V2. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 28 gauge Kanthal and we're going to trap it underneath the ground connection. Put a little tension on there and break it off. I've got a 325 by 325 stainless steel mesh wick. I've already oxidized it. This is a hollow wick, and I'm just going to be taking the flathead that we just used, and I'm going to insert this flathead into the wick to give it more support when I wrap the coil. Now I'm not going to be doing a micro coil, it's just going to be a regular 5-4 wrap. Now when you wrap it, you don't want to give it slack. You want to keep it tight. And as you wrap the coil, just use your fingernail and push those coils down, and then tighten it back up. Tighten it back up. Okay, this is the last wrap. And then what I'm going to do, pull it between the two nuts at the top. Again, you do not want to give it any slack. And you want to tighten down these two nuts. Trap that wire. Okay. That's how I wrap my regular 5-4 wrap. Again, this is not a micro coil, guys. This is just a regular wrap. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this wire right there. And I'm just going to take my fingernail and I'm going to adjust these coils. Make them nice and even. And you're going to want to pull the support system out of the wick. Let's see where we're at. Oh yeah, I can already tell it's going to be a short. Here's the ohms. It's low. We know for sure we have a hot spot. And what do? Now, for those of you guys who are using the Provari Mini and you're having the same damn issue, I've got an easy fix for you, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Alright, we're going to disconnect the ground wire from the ground connection. disconnect the positive wire from the positive connection, pull the wick out, wick and coil assembled. You want to keep the coil on this wick. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to torch the hell out of this wick and coil. And what that does is it puts an oxidation carbon layer in between these coils, the coil and the wick. You want to torch the coil on the wick for a good 3 to 5 minutes. That should be good right there, but we may have to repeat that process again. Crucial part. Here's the crucial part, guys. You want to make sure that when you insert this coil back in the wick hole and you connect your ground wire to your ground connection and your top positive wire to your positive connection, you can't move the coil, because by already torching the coil on this wick, you developed an oxidation layer, carbon layer, in between those coils. And if you move the wick and the coil, then you're killing that layer that we've built, and you're just going to end up with another short. So what we're going to do, we're going to be gentle, don't move those coils one bit, place the wick and the coil back in there. Make sure that when you put the wick in there, you twist it before you go all the way down, so that positive wire is sitting to the right. You're going to want to try to get that wire back into its slot. Back into its slot. Put a little tension there. Keep that wire in place. Tighten that sucker down. Okay. Tighten the two nuts at the positive connection. And like I said, we should be between 1.1 and 1.3 ohms with a 5/4 wrap. Let's go ahead and test it. First, I'm going to drop my voltage down all the way. Take it to 3 volts. And then I'm going to test the resistance. 1.1 ohms. I've got it set to 3 volts at 1.1 ohm, and I'm just going to fire it and make sure all the coils glow. As you can see, they're glowing. I'm going to take the voltage up to 3.5 volts. Take it up to 3.8 volts. Okay, E1, that means we've gone over. Okay, so now it's gone back down to 1 ohms. Okay? I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this process again on camera, because I'm going to show you guys, look, with stainless steel mesh on a device like a Provari or a Singelli Z-Max or any other variable voltage, variable wattage device, you're going to have these issues, but this is how to fix it. So all I'm going to do is disconnect the ground wire from the ground connection. I'm going to disconnect the positive wire from the positive connection. Okay, just like that. I'm going to torch the wick and the coil. For a good 3 to 5 minutes. And I actually wanted it to mess up twice like this, because this is how it is, guys. When you're using stainless steel mesh in a Genesis atomizer on a variable voltage or variable wattage device, it can be tricky. But this is how I've dealt with it for the past year and a half now, and it's the best solution that I've come up with when using a device like a Provari. But I want you to be aware of why you're having issues with these shorts. It's because you've got metal on metal. The metal canthal on the metal wick, and if you don't have an oxidation layer between those coils like we're making now by torching it, you're going to have issues. You're going to have shorts. And I guarantee you what happened was, the last time I installed this wick after we torched it like we're doing now, I guarantee you I moved the top coil a little bit. It causes a short out. Okay, that should be good. The lesson learned in this is, got to be more gentle when you insert the wick and coil. Place the wick back in the wick hole. Make sure you twist so the top coil is to the right. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently twist and let those wires get right back into position. Boom. Just like that. Okay. Make sure those are tight. And as you can see, everything's connected. Let's say to 3.2 volts. Now we're going to check the resistance. .3 ohms. That's exactly where we want it to be with a 5/4 wrap of 28 gauge Canthal on a device like the AL1 Genesis Atomizer with a 3.5 millimeter wick hole. Your ohms and your wire and how many wraps you do is going to be different, you know, depending on whichever Genesis Atomizer you're using. But with something like the RSST or the AC9 or this one with the same size wick hole, or even the DID, you're going to have the same ballpark resistance using the 28 gauge Canthal in the stainless steel mesh. Okay, let's take the voltage up. Let's take it to 4 volts. And as you can see, all the coils are glowing. All right, next step. Gonna take the juice you're using, fill this bad boy up. And as you can see, it's already starting to wick. And this is 4 volts, guys. We're going to be firing this at 4 volts. I don't even need to saturate the coil in the wick. You saw it. See how it comes off of that wick even? You know when the vapor comes off of the wick even that you have a perfect coil. You don't have any hot spots. But see, as soon as that wick starts firing vapor straight up like a chimney, you'll see a stream of vapor. It's mostly caused from the top coil having a hot spot. You'll know when you have a hot spot. It'll just be a stream of vapor. I'm going to take it up to, this is a 1.3 ohm coil. We're going to take it to 4.4 volts. 1.3 ohm coil at 4.4 volts. Oh yeah, look at that. Vaping heaven right there, folks. Vaping heaven. Not a hot spot in sight. Look at that. That sucker just wicked right back up. That's the beauty of using stainless steel mesh, guys. It wicks. It wicks awesome. Alright guys, so I hope that helps. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are vaping on variable voltage, variable wattage devices, and you're just having major issues getting the Genesis Atomizer to function correctly on your variable voltage, variable wattage device. One of the next tutorials I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to get rid of hot spots using a microcoil and a Genesis Atomizer using stainless steel mesh. Again, I have to show you guys this. It's just a thing of beauty. 1.3 ohm coil with your 28 gauge Canthal. That's a bitchin' vape on your Provari if you can get a 1.3 ohm coil. And if you follow those steps I just showed you in the video, you may have to torch it twice like I did, but you'll get it. Here's 1.3 ohms at 4.4 volts. And you'll know you don't have any hot spots. Just a little bit of a tilt and it wicks right back up. But that's that AL1 atomizer for you. I mean, it's a wicking son of a bitch. It's a beast. This is Rip Trippers. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment below. And remember, smoking is dead. Vaping is the future. And the future is now.